Hi, I'm Kaylee, and this is my video journal for Sandra Lee Bartky's article. Um, After reading this article, I agree that Foucault's theories needed some updating. Um, Basically, what Foucault is saying is that society has a way in which it expects us to move and use our bodies, and that expectation comes from cultural and political aims to make us more efficient and controlled. And I don't think that you can really discuss this matter without talking about women. So I'm glad that Bartky updated this. I like that in the beginning, before she starts out, she notes that the female figure, or the idea of the female figure, it varies across cultures and it changes over time. And really that it's just a reflection of the culture's current obsessions at the time. Like today, a lot of women, for them, their body is the enemy, and it becomes some sort of beast that they have to tame and control in order to be right or correct when comparing themselves to societal norms and scripts. And it's not just weight, it's gestures, it's posture, and body movements in general. Bartky discusses how this isn't really from biology, it's actually it's a social thing, because the way that women and men act and the way that it differs is really just going off of what we know for our gender is what's right and what's wrong, how we should act and how we shouldn't act. That women who do not confine to these are looked down upon, and like she said, she calls them loose women, which of course is not attractive, because in a way how a woman uses or moves her body, it's now seen as a reflection of not just her level of femininity, but of her morals and her values and who she is as a person. And so women are always at this constant struggle between their personal identity, who they are at their core, and then their social identity, who they're expected to be. And obviously we know this can cause a lot of mental health issues. And I think it's important to say that it's not just that women are tired of conforming or that they feel that the expectations placed on them are a little unfair. It's really a big issue, almost like an epidemic of mental health issues like anorexia. Going back to the thing about posture, gestures, and body movement, when you really look at things, you can see that the way in which men move or are expected to move, they swing their arms when they walk, they take up a lot of space when they sit down, they spread their legs. But for women, it's quite the opposite, and we're expected to cross our legs and in general just take up as little space as possible. And I can definitely see this as a reflection of the bigger picture here, and it definitely has some implications. Just personally, I know that even though I have not suffered from some of the greater things that come from this, I'm sure that every woman has at least a little part of them that knows what it's like. And I think that these expectations create insecurities, and these insecurities keep you from having healthy relationships. They keep you from even communicating and expressing your insecurities, because it's also said that being insecure is a trait that makes a woman not desirable. They say nothing is more sexy than confidence. So really we're just left to stuff it down and deal with it. And I think a lot of us just think that that's how life is. And I think the biggest thing here that we can talk about is ads. And really, I think it's a con of capitalism that when you have society structured in a way like this, you have the economy structured like this, you're always going to have people or companies that are going to prey on things like women's insecurities. And most every ad that is about skincare, hair, makeup, anything like that, it's always telling you that who you are at your barest and truest form is not good enough and that it's defective. But that's okay, because we have something that can fix that for you. And ads talk about things like body hair. Shaving companies have both men and women customers, but the difference is that for men, choosing to shave your body hair, that's what it is. It's a choice. And if a man shaves his beard or decides to grow it out, that's a style choice. That's a reflection of who he is and his personality. But for women, we must shave in order to be okay. Okay, so I'll just end with a quote from Bartky. She says, "We women cannot begin the revision of our own bodies until we learn to read the cultural messages inscribed upon them daily, and until we come to see that even when we master the disciplines of femininity and have a triumphant result, we are still only women." And I think this really resonated with me because I can see how um, that's the highest bar for women. And even if you reach that bar, that's as high as you can go. And being beautiful and ascribing to all the norms and everything that they tell us we should be doing with our bodies, even if you do that successfully, all you're going to gain is attention and admiration. And I think what a lot of us are really asking for is true respect and true social power. And having that be the top bar for women, it distracts us from the fact that we can never reach as high as a man can. And we're just constantly living in this struggle to keep up with something that really doesn't gain us anything.